Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. It is Thursday afternoon, which at the Twin Cities Film Fest means it's day 9. We're heading into our evening programming, late afternoon evening programming. And I'm so excited to be here. My name is Doug Sidney. I'm your host tonight here at the Showplace Icon Theater at the Shops at the West End, our official sponsor for the entirety of the Twin Cities Film Fest. We're on our Florida Junk sponsored red carpet. And leading off our afternoon evening is our shorts blocks, which are centered around relationships. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Ted James and Cole Crawford, the writer, director, and actor in the film, and Cole Crawford joins him as part of the cast as well. Both of you, thank you so much for being here. So your film about Heath is such a unique story because it about a journey that two characters are taking. You wrote it, and talk to us about coming up with such a unique grouping of characters on such a cool journey.
Yeah, well, so it's about a famous writer who's in his 60s who has this nervous breakdown, talks a fan who's in his 30s to join him on a road trip to his hometown in Iowa. I grew up going to Iowa to see my great-grandma, so that aesthetic was sort of in my background and a nostalgic sort of journey. And I wanted to have a non-traditional friendship and road trip where they sort of mentor each other. One of them is about lost love, and one of them is about never really truly in love, and they can kind of play off each other and mentor.
So you have these intertwining themes happening with two characters who don't know each other, but come to realize how many commonalities they have together. So talk to us about, I want to touch back on the backdrop of the film, which is where you said it, but talk to us about the characters themselves. They're at different ends of the life spectrum a bit, and you found a lot of really comedic elements in the film with them. Talk to me about that character development.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to think that these two dudes who are, decades apart can sort of be buddies, but at the same time it can sort of become like a father-son relationship, and in fact, through it, the older character Heath almost sort of starts to fantasize that this is my son, and I do have a son, and this is the relationship we both had. And so I think he learns, in turn then switches around and learns from the younger character, and they sort of teach each other about what they don't know from different generations.
Yes, and it's so easy to get invested in these characters, but I want to talk to you also about the filmmaking aspect of your film as well. And I would imagine you had a hand in this, but you used some really skilled camera work. Your montage scene is awesome. There's some really cool, I don't want to call them tricks, but there's some really effective, unique ways to tell that montage scene. Do you have a DP background?
I don't, but we had an awesome DP, Jason May, who's done some amazing work, and I found him based on seeing his work. And so we talked at length before it about just what the aesthetic of it was, and also what the editing was going to be. So a lot of those tricks were shots that are so specific that they were edited before we shot them.
And I want to stay in this vein with one other element, the music that you've selected. I don't want to give anything away, but their first car scene, that it grabbed my attention because you have this conversation going on, and then you have something completely different happening in the background, but it all works together. Talk about that.
Well, I tried to use the dogma of any music appeared in the film, so it had to be happening in the real world for it to get into the soundtrack. So like the music plays, and then we get to the car, we realize the music's playing in the car. We want to use a lot of hip hop in there. That's a band called Pseudo Slang, Chicago band. Big shout out to them. They were amazing. Recut some tracks for us so they work exactly with the edits. And music is just a huge part of the character's life, and so it's a huge part of the film.
And then you went into a completely different level of film with your montage scene, and then that same track or that same artist returns again. You're launching into some hip hop at the front, which is awesome. And then is it a Spanish? Is it a Spanish song?
Oh yeah, the Little Blues Machine. Yes, it's a Spanish song. They're Mexican Americans. They sing in both English and Spanish, and it just felt right for that.
And it seemed so counter to what was going on, but it worked so well. It really stood out to me, which I just love. Now, Cole, thank you so much for being here. I'm not forgetting about you, but it's so neat. Tell us about how the two of you came to work together on the film.
Yeah, Ted and I actually met in Chicago, which was always so wonderful. I look back on my career and I'm starting to notice a trend that it's really, when you're following your passion and you're pursuing projects that are calling to you, they usually lead you to the next one. So it's just such a wonderful experience to work with Ted in a completely different medium for one, and two, just to work with such an incredible cast in Chicago and prove that all its roots in amazing. There's so much heart and love and wonderful art happening. So it was just a really incredible experience. It's a perfect send-off on my way out to Los Angeles, and I'm just so thrilled to be here to support this film. We're thrilled really with the way that it's impacting the audience. So I'm excited to continue the journey.
Being extremely well received. So Ted, please tell us the story of how you came to see Cole's work and how she got to be a part of the film, because I love the story.
She's being modest about it. So I actually saw her at a great playhouse in Chicago, the Artistic Home Theater. She was playing this nasty, city slicker, wealthy woman who was being really hard on this clown. And I was casting Heath at the time, and we had this role for this really nasty press agent who sort of represented the hardest part of the city, and I wanted to have that juxtaposed to the country. And so I brought her in to read and cast her that night. She's perfect.
And you're not going to be stereotyped by the role that you played, because you are amazing in a dramatic, aggressive way. But it just highlights the work that you did. Ted James, Cole Crawford here for their film Heath Takes a Trip. I believe it leads off the shorts clock tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to be back with more live Florida Junk sponsored red carpet with our shorts blocks based on relationships right away.